Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today what I'm gonna do is I'm going to show you the way to find out what's the name of your primary key. So sometimes SQL generates like random names. For instance, here in this scenario, I got this PK product and then this long number. Okay, so when you're working with migrations from entity framework or you're trying to create some code to do something, and you may have to find out what's the real name of your primary key or your foreign key. So I'll show you how to see that. So there's basically this query here. So I'm trying to get the constraint from my product table. And what I'm gonna do now is I'm going to use exactly the same code, but for my orders and my customer info table. So let's just do it step by step. So select, and here's the trick. So I'm going to select the constraint name, also my constraint type, so underscore type, and then I'll say, okay, from information schema, you'll see the help here, dot table constraints, and I'll mention where my table name is. So you'll see that there's different options there, but we're gonna be using this table name option, and I'll say, okay, I want the orders table. So I have the orders table here. And I'll be using the same query for customer info. So let me just copy this real quick, paste it here, but here it's for customer info. All right, so let me just copy this, and I'm gonna run these three queries at the same time, so I'll get the three results. Okay, so you'll see that the product table, it has this PK product, and then for the orders you got a primary key here and a foreign key, and those are basically the names. All right, so now I changed this PK product because it was like this, but let's just try to change it again to just a different name. So we're going to change product's primary key name. All right, so for that I'm going to need to alter a table. So alter table, and that's gonna be my product table, and then I'm going to use this code here. So I'm going to add constraint, and I have to mention the name that I want and then give it a new name. I'm gonna see if it works because it already has this primary key. So let's see. So add constraint, and let's call it PK product. So notice that these are different. Like this is like on capitals, and this one is not. So that's going to be a different name for the uh, product. Okay, let's just call it two. So we make the difference there. So, and then I have to mention what's the name of the column. So I'll say primary key, and then what's the name of this column. So let's just go back to the product table, and that's going to be product underscore ID. So product underscore ID. Okay, let's see if that actually works. So let me just make this bigger and let's try to run this part. And you'll see that I couldn't create constraint. because it already has one constraint, okay? So it cannot add another one, which is a primary key. So in order to be able to do that, I have to drop it first. So when you drop something from a table, you still like altering that table. So we're gonna be using this alter table product and then drop, and we'll see what's the query about. So drop, you're gonna drop a constraint as well, and we have to know what's the real name of that constraint. If you don't remember that, we gotta run this again. We'll see the real name here, which is PK product, capitals. So drop constraint, PK underscore product. Okay, product. That's going to be my, I'm going to be dropping that constraint. And finally, I'll have to mention, oh no, nothing else because I already mentioned what's the table. So let me just run this first and let's see if it actually drops that constraint. So it was successfully completed. So because there's not like many relationships here among the tables, that was an easy one. So if I run this again, I'm not gonna have anything there. See, there's no constraint, there's no name, there's no nothing because I dropped it. Because I dropped it already, I can actually create it now. So I'm going to, so sorry, I'm going to add it again. So alter table, I'm going to add to the same product table, but now I'm going to add the constraint. So I'm going to add the constraint with this PK product 2 name, and let's see if that works. Now it works. How do we know if that works? So I'm going to execute the same query, and we're going to have the same name that I just created. Okay, that's perfect. So I want to go back to the real name, which it was like PK product. So I don't want this two anymore. So I'm just going to be doing the same query. So I'm going to alter a table, drop the constraint. But in this case, notice that you have to change this because it has a different name now, right? So now I want to drop products two. Okay, let's drop it. And okay, couldn't drop constraint is not a constraint. That means that I typed something in a wrong way. There's a typo. So let's just go back here. That happens a lot. So just PK product. Oh, it's not products, it's product. That's why it's not working. So I want to alter this table. I'm going to drop the constraint. It worked. You go back here, you'll see no constraints. And then I want to add the constraint with the real name with no number two. I just want this PK product. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna alter the table again. I'm gonna execute this again, and that's it. We're gonna have those three names uh, the same way. So let me just execute the three queries again. So one, two, three for these three tables. Execute, and there you go. We're back to the kind of original one because the original was like all in capitals, but here I got my PK product name for this primary key constraint. So that was basically the whole process of, trying to find out what's the primary key, what's the real name. Like if you're working with something else and you don't know what's the real name that was generated. So you guys can use this query here. So that's pretty much everything for today. And thank you guys. I hope you guys like the video, and I'll see you in the next video.